Student, welcome all of you. This is Pooja Rawat. Today we will start our class 7 geography 5th chapter water. Student, you all know that water is very important for us. 71% of our earth's surface is water, and that's why our earth looks blue from the galaxy. Okay, that's why water is everywhere around us, but still somewhere there is a lots of problem in water in some countries and in some places. So today we will learn about water, its important and its effects and its cycle. Okay, water is very important for all of us, and because of this our earth and our planet looks very beautiful. It is one more important aspect of the life on our earth. Means it is a very important part for the life in the earth. When you think of water, what images comes to your mind? You think of rivers, the waterfalls, the pitter-patter of raindrops, water in your taps. Children love to float paper boats in the rain puddles. By noon, the puddle vanish. Where does the water go? The sun heat causes evaporation of water into vapor. When the water vapor cools down, it condenses and forms cloud. From there, it may fall on the land or sea in the form of rain, snow or sleet. Let's understand this by the pictures. Here you can see the rainwater collects in some ponds and the water of the ocean and the river evaporate, and then after evaporation it's condensed, and after that it's again comes to the earth in form of rain. Here again you can see the cycle of the water. First of all evaporation, then condensation and then participation. Evaporation, condensation and then precipitation and then run of the water. This is the cycle of the water. First of all water evaporate, then it's condensed means ठंडा हो जाता है और उसके बाद वो बरसता है. This is known as precipitation, and then water again run off to the rivers. This is the water cycle. You can also say this is the rain cycle. The sun's heat causes evaporation of water into vapor, and when the water vapor cools down, it condenses. Okay, so when the water vapor cools down, it's condensed and forms clouds. Okay, from there it may fall on the land or sea in the form of rain, snow or sleet. Okay, so the process by which water continually changes its form and circulates between ocean, atmosphere and land is known as the water cycle. Our earth is like a terrarium. Terrarium. Student, I will show you what is terrarium. Terrarium, it is an artificial enclosure for keeping small house and plant like this. You can also make your own terrarium. Terrarium. Fill 1/4 of a big jar with the soil and press it well. Put a thin layer of humus on top of it. Plant the largest plants first and then arrange the smaller one around them. Spray the arrangement with water and close the jar. The water that evaporates from the leaves and soil condenses and falls back in the form of drops of the water. I will again show you by this some pictures. Here you can see this is the picture of a terrarium. You can also make a terrarium for yourself. Students, terrarium means a small this small jar type structure. You can also take a small jar and then you can put some sand in it, some soil in it, and then plant some large plant, after that some small plants around it. Okay, then this terrarium will develop its own ecosystem, means its own environment and ecosystem, and after some time there will be no need to give water to this terrarium, means it's use its own water, and this is the speciality of the terrarium. Same student, our earth is like a terrarium. The same water that existed centuries ago still exists today. Okay, means if we will put some water in a terrarium, then there will be no need to put the water again, because उसमें क्या होता है that कि वही water दोबारा से उसके अंदर evaporate होता है और उसकी जो walls होती है जार की उस पे जाके ठंडा हो जाता है, and then फिर again वो एक अगेन से वो रेन की फॉर्म में वहाँ पे बरस जाता है, एंड फिर वही वाटर दोबारा से साइकिल चलता रहता है, दैट इज नोन एज द टेरेरियम. सेम आवर अर्थ इज ऑल्सो अ टेरेरियम, एंड द सेम वाटर दैट एग्जिस्ट सेंचुरीज एगो स्टिल एग्जिस्ट टुडे. Means the water doesn't change, it still exists there, and the water used to irrigate a field in Haryana may have flowed down the Amazon river 100 years ago, because water is continuously moving in form of clouds and in form of air, with the air and the water vapors. So the water is that is present in Haryana, maybe sometime it is flowing in the Amazon river, so we cannot say that the water that is in Haryana, it is here from the hundreds of the year ago. So the major source of fresh water are the rivers, ponds, spring and glaciers. So these are the source of the fresh water. Major source of fresh water are the rivers, ponds, spring and glaciers. Okay, and the ocean bodies and the sea contains salty water. Student, 71% of our earth's surface is water, but a large part of this is ocean, and the ocean bodies and the sea contains salty water. So we cannot drink this water. The water of the ocean is salty or saline as it contains large amount of salt in it. That's why we cannot drink this water. So which type of salt is present in the ocean? This is most of the salt is sodium chloride or the common table salt that you eat. Means the salt which we eat in our table or with our food, that is sodium chloride, and we get it from the oceans. Here student, you can see in this map in your book also, here you can see world's major sea, land, ocean, lakes and rivers. Here this is the Caspian Sea. Okay, this is the Indian Ocean, Southern Ocean. Okay, North Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Arctic Ocean. So these are the some main. See, Congo River, Niagara River, Orange River, Amazon River, that is in the South America, Amazon River. Okay, and lots of Mississippi River, that is in the North America, Missouri River. Okay, and Ganga River, Brahmaputra River. Okay, Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal. Okay, South China Sea. These are the East China Sea. These are the main water bodies of the world. Black Sea. Okay. Caspian Sea. So these are the main water bodies and rivers and lake of the world. You have to paste a world map in your notebook and mark the important water bodies and major water bodies and ocean of the world. So student, water is everywhere in different form. Okay, somewhere it present in form of river, somewhere it is in form of ocean, somewhere it is in form of lakes. So water gives us life. So water is very important for us. You can see on the screen, these are the ocean's waves. You have seen these waves on maybe on television, and if you have traveled some these beaches, you have seen these waves there also. Student, we all know that 3/4 of the water surface is covered by the 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered by the water. If there is more water than land on this earth, why do so many countries face water scarcity? Is all the water on earth available to us? The following table gives us the distribution of water in the percentage. You can see, students, 97.3% water is in the oceans. 97.3% water is in the ocean, and we cannot drink this water because this is saline water, salty water. Okay, this is not good for our health. So this water is not good for health. If you want to drink it, we have to filter this water, but we cannot drink this water directly. So the river's water is in 0.001% is river water. 0.001%, this is the fresh water which we can drink, and this is in a very small amount, 0.001% only. So students, river water is only 0.001%, and only this water we can drink, the water of the rain water, and river water, lakes water. Again, look at this table. Ice cape, 0.2% are ice cape, that is in the glaciers, okay, poles of the earth, and we cannot use it also because it is in the form of the ice and very far away from so many countries. Groundwater, that is also very less, that is 0.68%. Fresh water 0.009, and inland sea and salt lakes, that are 0.009, and in atmosphere the water is 0.0019%. So student, this is the distribution of water. Water distribution can be demonstrated by a simple activity. See activity box. Here you can see. Take 2 liters of water. Let it represent the total water on the surface of the earth. Measure out 12 spoons of water from the vessel into another bowl. And the water that is left behind the vessel represent the salty water found in the ocean. Okay student, if you will take 2 liter water, and you will only take 2 spoons water from that is as the 2 spoons water, that is 2 spoons water is only groundwater. Okay, so measure out 12 spoon water from the vessel into another bowl. The water that left behind in the vessel represent the salty water. Okay, तो जो उस बर्तन में जितना भी उसमें से हम 12 स्पून वाटर निकाल देंगे, तो उसमें से जो पीछे जो उस बाउल में वाटर बचेगा, दैट इज salty water, and फिर after that the water that is left behind the vessel represent the salty water found in the ocean and seas, and the water is obviously not fit for consuming, it is saline, contains salt. And जो बाकी के 12 spoons हमने निकाले थे, the 12 spoons of water that was taken in the bowl is the total amount of fresh water. Okay, so from that full bowls only 12 spoon water is, you can compare it, the water available, fresh water that is available on the earth, you can compare these 12 spoons, means only 12 spoons. Okay, so this is the fresh water on the earth, and the figures show us the distribution of fresh water. See for yourself how much water can actually be used by. So 12 spoon ground, उनमें से 2 spoons are ground water, 1.5 spoon fresh water, and only one drop that is in the river. So this is the distribution of the fresh water. So you can understand that that's why we have to use water very intelligently, and we have to not waste the water. Water is absolutely essential for survival. You all know that water is very essential for the survival, and water alone can quench our thirst when we are thirsty. Now, don't you think we are wasting a precious resource when we use water carelessly? So, we should not waste the water, we should not use the water carelessly, because only a few amount of water is there for our use. You have seen lots of time on the newspaper and on the TV channel that lots of states and countries are facing water problems. They are not getting water to drink. So why is water important for us? This is a very important question. You have to find the answer of it. why the water is important for us, and you have to suggest some way in which water can be conserved in your home and in your school. Means you have to suggest some views that how you can save water. Okay, so here you can see there are some newspaper cuttings which are showing that how our water is running off and how we have a very few amount of water to use. Like here you can see Ganga among 10 dying rivers. 10 dying rivers means 10 rivers, and Ganga is one of them, that is a dying river. Means वो river जो खत्म होने वाली है, सूखने वाली है. The water you drink is very less and many major rivers is in danger of drying out. So water scenario in urban India and Delhi. Okay, every drop count more than just a problem. Coping with water scarcity. So there's a lots of problem we can face, and still people are facing in the world, that is in because of the lack of the safe and fresh drinking water. Somewhere people are wasting lots of water, and somewhere people are facing drought. This is the one of the major problem, that some people are using water carelessly, and some people are dying because of the scarcity of the water. So student, you can suggest some views that how we can save water and how we can use water intelligently, so that we can save the water for our generations, upcoming generations. You know that lots of civilizations are destroyed and they disappeared from our earth. Only their remains are found because they didn't use water carefully and they waste their water resources. Okay, so that's why we have to save water, so that we can save our society also, and our country and our world, our mother nature also. So there is some important word, that is salinity. Students, do you know that what is salinity? Salinity is the amount of salt in grams present in 1000 grams of water. The average salinity of the ocean is 35 per thousand. So that is known as the salinity. Salinity means the amount of salt in grams, कि कितने ग्राम salt present है in 1000 grams of water में, that is known as the salinity. And next important is that Dead Sea, about the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is in Israel and has salinity of 340 grams per liter of water. Means per liter of water उसमें 340 ग्राम जो है salt है. तो swimmers can float in it because the increased water content make it dense. Okay, because the amount of salt is there is a very much amount of salt in this ocean. That's why swimmers can float in it, because it increased salt content makes it dense, because the water become dense, and that's why the swimmers can float on it. So you can see on the screen that one can easily float on the water without any practice of swimming, and without any effort any person can swim easily on the Dead Sea, because the water is very dense here, so that it's easy to swim in the water, and people can float on it. Students, there is one more important topic, that is do you know March 22 is celebrated as World Water Day. So when the need to conserve water is reinforced in different ways, so on that day we can suggest more ways to conserve the water, to conserve the rainforest in the different ways. So March 22 is celebrated as World Water Day. Okay, so student, next topic is ocean circulation. There is something magical about walking barefoot on the seashore. Seashore means the sea beaches. Okay, so the wet sand on the beaches, the cool breeze and the seabirds, the smell of the salt in the air and the music of the waves, everything is so fascinating. Unlike the calm water of a pond and lake, ocean water keep moving continuously, so it is never still. The movement that occur in the ocean can be broadly categorized as waves, tides and currents. Okay, waves, tides and currents. So now we will read about it. Waves, tides and current. So oceans waves, there is different types of ocean waves because continuously moving, so that's why it have different types of waves. So that is tides, current and movement like other that oceans waves. So now we will read about it. Here you student, you can see on your screen, this is the picture of Pacific Ocean. So first let's read about waves. Waves are formed when wind scarps cross the ocean surface. The strong the wind blow, the bigger the waves becomes. So when you are playing throw balls on the beaches and the ball into the water, what happens? It is fun to watch how the ball get washed back to the shore by the waves. So when the water on the surface of the ocean rise and falls alternately, they are called waves. So what are waves, students? When the water on the surface of the ocean rise and falls alternately, they are called waves. So during a storm, the wind blowing at very high speed from huge waves. Okay, so these may cause tremendous destruction, an earthquake, a volcanic eruption, or underwater landslide can shift large amount of ocean water. As a result, a huge tide wave called tsunami that may be as high as 15 meter is formed. The largest tsunami ever measured was 150-meter high. Do you know, students, tsunami is a Japanese word. That means harbor. Waves as the harbors get destroyed whenever there is tsunami. Let's look at the tsunami's destruction. So you can see the waves of tsunami can be 15-meter high and they can cause lots of destruction. Like you can see on your screen. The destruction of the tsunami. The destruction by the water. These are the some images. By these images you can understand that how the water and the tsunami and the other flood type effects are very dangerous for us. So, an earthquake, a volcanic eruption or underwater landslide can shift large amount of ocean water. So, जब वो underwater जो होता है उसके underwater कुछ चीज़ें shift होती हैं ocean के अंदर या landslide होता है ocean के अंदर भी, तो as a result a huge tide wave called tsunami that may be as high as 15 meter is formed. So, the largest tsunami were measured was 150 meter high. So, these waves travel at a speed of more than 700 km per hour. So the tsunami of 2004 caused widespread damage in the coastal area. Means the tsunami of 2004 that caused spread damage in the coastal area on India also. The India point in the Andaman and Nicobar. So Iceland got submerged after the tsunami. So these islands, that is Andaman and Nicobar, these are submerged by the tsunami. Tsunami, the earth's pandemonium. Tsunami on the harbor wave struck havoc in the Indian Ocean on the 26th December 2004. The waves were the result of the earthquake that had its epicenter close to the western boundary of Sumatra. So वहाँ पे ये tsunami क्या था? That is earthquake. एक earthquake था that had its epicenter close to the western boundary of Sumatra. Means earthquake inside the ocean. Okay, so the magnitude of the earthquake was 9.0 on the Richter scale as the Indian plates went under the Burma plates. तो इसमें क्या हुआ था? जो इंडियन प्लेट जो थी वो खिसक कर बुर्मा प्लेट के अंदर जो है वो मर्ज हो गई थी and there was a sudden movement of the sea floor causing the earthquake and the ocean floors was displayed by other 10 to 20 meter and tilted in a downwardly direction. A huge mass of ocean water flowed to fill in the gap that was being created by the displacement and this marked the withdrawal of the water mass from the coastal line of the land mass in the South and Southeast Asia. After thrusting of the Indian plates below the Burma plates, the water mass rushed back towards the coastal line and tsunami traveled at a speed about 800 kilometer per hour compared to speed of commercial aircraft and completely washed away. Some of the islands in the Indian Ocean and the Indira Point of the Andaman and Nicobar Island that mark the southernmost point in India got completely submerged. Means lots of parts of the India was completely submerged, means beaches, Indian beaches, they were submerged. As the wave moved from earthquake epicenter, the Sumatra toward the Andaman Island and Sri Lanka, the wavelength decreased with decreasing depth of water. The travel speed also declined from 700 to 900 km per hour to less than 70 km per hour. Tsunami waves travel up to a depth of 3 km from the coast, killing more than 10,000 people and attacked more than lakh of houses in India. The worst effects were the coastal areas of Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Puducherry and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. While the earthquake cannot be predicted in advance, it is possible to give a 3-hour notice of a potential tsunami. Such early warning systems are in place across the Pacific Ocean, but not in the Indian Ocean. So, tsunami are rare in Indian Ocean as the seismic activity in less as compared in the Pacific. So, you can see the picture that is destruction caused by the tsunami on Tamil Nadu coast. So, we can predict tsunami before 3 hours, students, but in Indian Ocean, it is not, the instruments were not present at that time. That's why the people were not able to predict it, and it caused a huge damage. The tsunami that ravaged the South and Southeast Asia coast in December 2004 in the most devastating tsunami in the last several hundred years. The large damage caused to life and property was primarily a result of lack of monitoring, the early warning system and knowledge among the coast dwellers of Indian Ocean. The first indication that tsunami is approaching and the rapid withdrawal of water from the coastal region followed by destructive waves. And when this happened on the coast, instead of people going to high ground, they started assembling at the coast to view the miracle. As a consequence, there was a large casualty of curious onlooker when the gigantic wave struck. क्या होता है बेटा, जब भी सुनामी आने वाला होता है, जो ओशन का वाटर है वो एकदम से पीछे की तरफ जाना शुरू कर देता है. क्यों? क्योंकि वो अंदर जो भी डिस्ट्रक्शन हुआ है समुद्र के अंदर उसको फिल करता है पहले. तो जब वो उसको पीछे की तरफ जाता है एंड देन पीपल, when it was happening in the coastal area of the India, the Indian people were coming close to the sea to watch this scenario. And उसके बाद जब वाटर पीछे की तरफ जाता है, आफ्टर दैट वो सडनली आगे की तरफ आता है, सडनली एंड कॉज सुनामी एंड कॉज ह्यूज डिस्ट्रक्शन. तो सबके सब लोग उस सुनामी को देखने के लिए आगे चले गए थे, बट जब वो सुनामी एकदम से पानी आगे की तरफ आया तो सबके सब क्या हुआ, मारे गए, और वो बहुत ज़्यादा डिस्ट्रक्शन उसकी वजह से हुआ. So the first indication that tsunami is approaching is the rapid withdrawal of water from the coastal region. पहले क्या होता है, जब भी सुनामी आने वाला होता है पानी एकदम से पीछे की तरफ जाता है, followed by the destructive waves. And when this happen on the coast, instead of people going to high ground, जब